Clip whatever you
I
want
want
to.
to I want to pick your head about advertising because you said it, not me. You were like, yeah, when I was tackling podcasting, advertising, because a lot of people ask me questions too. They're like, Chris, how do you get sponsors? I'm like, brother, like I'm still figuring that portion of like advertisement stuff like that. Like, have you gone down that alley pretty hardcore as
Well,
well?
yeah, I have a team. I have a salesperson.
Yeah,
I work with agencies, but that's been over like a 7-year period.
true.
So I also understand, like I understand sales and I understand marketing,
Yeah.
which was a huge benefit to me as a creator. I understood how to pitch myself. I understood what advertisers were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I understood how to communicate with them. So I'm saying like, hey, I'm getting so many downloads. What's your CPM? Which is a technical advertising term for cost per mil, cost per thousand downloads.
Mm-hmm.
And I can have a conversation with them. I also know how to find decision makers in companies. I also know how to like reach out to them because I was sales and marketing
Okay.
for companies.
Yep.
So I know how to set up campaigns, email people, DM people at scale. I know the messaging that converts. So that gave me an edge
Mm-hmm.
because I was a business person that built businesses that now had a podcast.
Yep.
So the podcast was my new product. That's what I was selling, right? So I still need to build it. You still need to get like a good, audience and whatnot. But once you have that, then it's like sales 101. You find the person who has a product that would work with your audience. You find the person who's responsible for the budget, and then you reach out to them. You know, for some of the people you reach out to like 7 to 15 different times before they reply back saying yes, we'd like to work with you, and then we can negotiate a deal. But I mean, that's more technical sales. If you don't want to worry about any of that, you can work with. I mean, there's a million different agencies that will do this for you.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So
So I'll
you
list
were
all
big
the
on-
agencies
yeah.
I've worked with. Right now, my agency of record is Jones Curie, AdvertiseCast, Glassbox is a great agency, Young and Profiting. These are all podcast sales agencies. So they'll take a percentage of the deal,
Okay.
but they have the sales team. They'll go find advertisers for your show based on how many downloads you get. They'll go close the deal. You just have to run the ad. So that's where you start. Now, I had sales experience, so I could do this myself, and I wouldn't have to pay them a cut. But I've still worked with them, and at this point now I have like a full-time salesperson selling for me. So again, you're like, who's your audience? What are the products they care about? So for me, I do a business podcast, right? So I mean, my advertisers, I've been working with HubSpot for years now, LinkedIn, Huel, FreshBooks. I mean, I've worked with a whole bunch of mostly B2B softwares because a lot of the people that listen to my show are entrepreneurs or executives in companies.
They are.
But I mean, that's how you do it. You can either work with somebody who can sell for you, or you learn how to sell yourself.
Noting all this teams too as well. Like I don't know if you know this. I'm going back to this. I'm writing all this shit down. I'm like, because these are early stage things that I do know. There's gonna be a gym in here.
Yeah,
A couple of them that I'm gonna be like, oh, we're doing that today. Like,
well, you're gonna, yeah. So I mean, it's so funny because my content and stuff I like to talk about, obviously, there's a lot of ideas and mindset things that have really helped me.
Same.
But you have to know the tactics too. But I think that you can Google the tactics. So everything I just spoke about, if you went to ChatGPT or Claude or YouTube and you said, hey, Scott mentioned, this is how I sell ads for my podcast. Can you elaborate and come up with a strategy for me? It would like list it all out. It's not that complicated. It's
Right.
complicated the first time you hear it, but then it's like literally like step one, figure out, who the companies you want to reach out to. Step two, find the email of the chief marketing officer in that company. Step three, this is how you write a good outbound email to that person. Like, it's really not that complicated. It's just like you got to get through the steps and learn it the first time, and then you go. But so that's the tactics. I like talking about that stuff because I am very tactical, and I can talk tactics all day. But the other side of it, and what I speak about a lot now, is more mindset things. So I mentioned a few ideas at the beginning of this show, like, for example, manufacturing your own luck, or finding a way to stay in the game longer than reasonable. Like, if you want to build a successful podcast or a business, find a way to do it for 15 years and you'll find a way to become successful. Or how to, hedge against shiny object syndrome, and how to make sure that you aren't diversified with your time and your energy and your attention when you're building a company or when you're investing. Like, all of these sort of mindset, mental models, I guess is the best way to call it. These are important because then it lets the tactics have the time. The mindset gives you how do I say this? It lets the tactics become successful. What I mean by that is if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't understand how to give something the proper time and attention and energy, it doesn't matter how good you are at the campaign. If you only do the campaign for a week, it's not going to return results. But if you can do the campaign for 6 months, a year, then all of a sudden you have something real and you have that sales campaign that's going to generate revenue for your show. But to do something for 6 months or a year, you have to understand that that's normal. And then you want to sort of make sure that you don't have incorrect expectations that it's going to, make money for you in the first week and you're going to get an advertisement, because it's not. So you have to have the reframe and you have to have the mental model and the mindset to say, I'm going to do this thing for a year. And I'm going to focus all my energy and attention on this one thing for a year. So the mindset allows the tactics to work, basically.
Yeah.
Because if you just Google the tactics and you don't have the right mindset, that means that you're going to try the tactics and you're going to quit after like week 2 when it's not working. And or the other thing we spoke about, your focus is is all over the place. You have 5 different businesses running at the same time. Well, you have tactics, you're running your outbound campaign, but you're not really paying attention to it. So maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not. But if you don't give it the focus and the energy and attention that it needs, you're never going to see, for example, oh, you know what? If I change the subject line a little bit, then my open rate goes from 5% to 15%. But if you're so stressed out and your energy and your focus is across 4 other businesses, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see that opportunity. So you could have the perfect tactics, but if you don't have the right mindset locked in, the tactics mean nothing.
Okay. Because now it seems like you're rolling into the compound effect. You ever read that book with Darren Hardy?
I know Darren Hardy, but I haven't read his book, no.
You know Darren Hardy?
I know who he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. I was about to say, if you know him, man,
No.
he's huge. But he talks about the Valley of Death big time, where it's like this huge, long, year-long, like you're riding out a tactic. Mm-hmm. And the majority of people will, like you said, dieting, anything, business, or veer off.
Of course.
Versus the people who find the light in the tunnel, the ones who actually, like, very similar to Alex Clear, they stuck to that system,
Yeah.
So you're huge on just long-term, kind of just, okay, we're dialed in on this one thing. We're going to try this out, but we're not going to try it out in the sense of, like, we're only going to go, like, a short. You ride that thing out. Like, when do you find out you're like, this isn't it? When do you?
No, but that's the thing. So it will always turn into something if you're paying enough attention to it.
Always.
It will always turn. So say you start a business.
Right.
If you put enough time and energy and attention towards that business, you're going to learn what works, learn what doesn't, learn if the product resonates with your customers.
Yes.
You're going to close some deals. You're going to get some feedback. And then over time, the company, the business is going to evolve. Yeah. It's going to evolve based on feedback. It's going to evolve based on what works and what doesn't. And if you do that for 10 years, the company may look radically different than how it started. But it's not going to fail if you keep on going with it. True. I'll give you a better example. Slack. So Slack is a great example of this. So Slack didn't start off as a messaging company. It started off as a video game company.
Okay.
You know what Slack is?
I know exactly what Slack is.
Okay, so it started off as a video game company.
I didn't know it was a video game company. That's
nobody
wild.
does. So this is my point. So they started off as a video game company.
Yeah.
The video game company had some wins, wasn't incredibly successful, and they built Slack as a tool for communication within their own company. Yeah. That's why they built it so they could like chat about building video games. And it turns out that the tool was so good, they realized that, hey, there's a chance that other people might need this tool as well. So then they started taking Slack and they started selling it to customers, and Slack became the company. So they didn't ever give up. They didn't ever stop. They just paid attention to what was working and what wasn't working and then pivoted into a brand new product. But it was still the same founders, still the same company. It's just over time they figured out what really worked and then they tripled down on that. Yeah. So to your question, when do you throw in the towel? You can throw in the towel if you feel like the idea isn't working. But I think that in most cases, if you're paying attention, you're talking to your customers, and you keep iterating on your product, you're going to end up in a spot where you have created something that the market values and the market wants, and over time it turns into a real company, even if it's not the original idea.